I'm Christina Aguayo in Dallas, and here are your top stories. Declassified FBI documents confirm that Jack Smith was secretly monitoring the private phone communications of at least 8 Republican senators during his January 6th investigation. Former Special Counsel Jack Smith's surveillance, part of a bigger operation codenamed Arctic Frost, targeted lawmakers' phone records, including call locations and numbers dialed, potentially linked to the 2020 election certification. The details from the declassified FBI documents expose how Smith's taxpayer-funded operation, costing more than $50 million, was used to spy on political opponents, according to FBI Director Kash Patel. Smith's team focused on Senators Lindsey Graham, a Republican out of South Carolina, Marsha Blackburn out of Tennessee, Ron Johnson from Wisconsin, Josh Hawley from Missouri, Cynthia Lummis from Wyoming, Bill Hagerty out of Tennessee, Dan Sullivan from Alaska, and Tommy Tuberville from Alabama, along with Representative Mike Kelly from Pennsylvania. In 2023, Smith investigators subpoenaed major telephone carriers for toll records, which included metadata like who called who and from where. An FBI cellular analysis team conducted a preliminary toll analysis to map these interactions, all under the Arctic Frost banner, a case opened in April 2022 and focused on election law matters. Arctic Frost evolved into Smith's case against President Donald Trump over alleged election interference, which was ultimately dismissed after Trump's 2024 victory. The operation ballooned to spy on nearly 100 Republican-aligned groups and individuals and has been described by watchdogs as a fishing expedition aimed at Trump's allies. The document's declassification stems from a review ordered by Senate Judiciary Committee ranking member Chuck Grassley, Republican out of Iowa, who has long championed transparency in federal investigations. FBI Director Kash Patel and Deputy Director Dan Bongino personally oversaw the probe and are briefing the affected senators on Capitol Hill. This episode fits a pattern of alleged DOJ actions under the Biden administration, from the Russian collusion hoax to the Mar-a-Lago raid, that have now been exposed through declassified documents. Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson has signed an executive order banning federal immigration authorities, aka ICE, from using city-owned or controlled parking lots, vacant lots, and garages as staging areas, processing locations, or operation bases for ICE raids. Johnson accusing the president of declaring war against the people of Chicago. Watch.
We need ICE out of our city. And here's my message to the immigrant community. It's the message that I have for all of Chicago. We will use every single tool that is available to us to protect the dignity and the sanctity of our humanity. And that I'm calling on this president to leave us the freak alone. Private entities may voluntarily choose to display signage to designate their property as part of a citywide network of community spaces that stand together in affirming the safety, dignity, and belonging of all of our residents.
That's what you need to know. In Dallas, Christina Aguayo. And real quick, I want to remind you that Medicare costs are set to go up next year, which means you're going to be facing higher premiums, deductibles, and surcharges for the next decade. And some Medicare Advantage plans are disappearing altogether. If you're a senior and you're tired of dealing with the nonstop calls and texts, or maybe find this entire process a little overwhelming, don't quit just yet. Because if you don't take a look at your options, you could be paying much more than you have to, or even lose out on coverage. Instead, I've got a simple solution for you. Chapter. I've partnered with Chapter because I believe in their cause. They want to help. They'll review every single plan, recommend one that fits your needs, and on average save you more than $1,000 a year. The best part is, it's free. Take 20 minutes and call the number on your screen to talk to an advisor, or go to askchapter.org/Christina. Don't wait till the last minute. The Medicare annual enrollment ends in December, so now's the time. Call Chapter. El Salvador's president is warning the United States about corrupt judges that form a cartel to block reforms in the country. President Nayib Bukele said corrupt judges need to be removed for there to be any change, saying if you don't impeach the corrupt judges, you cannot fix the country. They will form a cartel, a judicial dictatorship, and block all reforms, protecting the systemic corruption that put them in their seats. Bukele is known for his crackdown on gang violence that transformed El Salvador from one of the deadliest countries to one of the safest. His administration's reforms, including the mass dismissal of judges tied to organized crime, paved the way for sweeping changes that prioritized law and order. In the U.S., critics point to unelected federal judges issuing nationwide injunctions that stop President Trump's executive actions on immigration, energy, independence, budget, and election integrity. Allegations of judicial bias seen in cases involving Trump or challenges to voter ID laws echo Bukele's warning. Conservatives advocate for measures like term limits for federal judges and stricter impeachment processes. In 2015, El Salvador was suffering from unprecedented violence, earning its reputation as one of the world's deadliest countries. There were 6,556 homicides in El Salvador in 2015 alone. This surge marked a 70% increase from the previous year's about 4,000 killings, overwhelming communities and straining the nation's resources. Enter President Bukele, who took office in 2019 and vowed to dismantle the gangs that were destroying the country. His administration launched an aggressive anti-gang offensive, including declaring a state of emergency in March of 2022, following a weekend spike of 87 murders, suspending constitutional rights like due process to enable rapid arrests, overseeing the detention of more than 80,000 suspected gang members in sweeping raids, many held in a massive new mega prison, deploying military units to high-risk neighborhoods, and negotiating truces that pressured gangs into compliance. By 2023, total homicides plummeted to 154, a 97.7% drop from previous years. Fast forward to 2024, and El Salvador closed the year with a record low of 114 murders. Through October of this year, there have been 61 homicides in El Salvador. As for the judges, in total, Bukele's government oversaw the removal or forced retirement of about 205 judges through targeted purges. In May of 2021, shortly after Bukele's New Ideas Party secured a congressional supermajority, the Legislative Assembly voted unanimously, 64-0, to oust all 5 judges of the Supreme Court's Constitutional Chamber. These judges were accused of ties to opposition forces and corruption. They were replaced. Later that August, the Assembly passed a reform law mandating retirement for all judges aged 60 or older, or those with 30 years of service, effectively purging about 1/3 of the judiciary. This opened about 200 positions, which were filled with vetted replacements to make sure impartiality in the fight against crime. Authorities found another SIM network being operated by Communist China in New Jersey that disrupts critical infrastructure and enables criminal networks. Federal agents have dismantled the SIM card network that had 200,000 SIM cards, twice the number found in New York. They could send 30 million anonymous texts every minute and shut down cell service in 12 minutes. The hardware is linked to a China-backed network that is capable of crippling cell towers, disrupting communications, and blocking 911 calls across New Jersey, New York City, and many other cities. HSI agents discovered the additional 200,000 SIMs on the initial takedown of a tri-state operation where SIMs hidden in abandoned buildings across more than 5 states. The investigation started with the U.S. Secret Service seizing more than 100,000 SIM cards and 300 high-powered servers in the New York region, just as world leaders gathered for the UN summit. Combined, authorities now hold more than 300,000 SIM cards capable of fueling encrypted, untraceable communications for foreign governments, drug cartels, human traffickers, and other illegal networks. Early analysis links the system to communications between Chinese operatives and U.S.-targeted gangs involved in fentanyl trafficking and human smuggling. No arrests have been announced just yet, but the Secret Service and HSI are leading a criminal investigation that traces ties to at least one foreign nation with clear fingerprints from Beijing. Well, here's a fast fact for you. 5 million illegal migrants were automatically given Social Security numbers, obtained welfare benefits, and registered to vote. During a DOJ audit earlier this year, it was revealed that illegal migrants were being funneled through a loophole in an automatic system that gave them Social Security numbers. DOJ saying they tracked the illegals and found that they were on a benefit program. They then looked in to see if they were on the voter rolls, and in a handful of cooperative states, they found thousands of them. Many of them had voted. DOJ highlighted a quote-unquote dramatic rise in Social Security numbers issued to non-citizens via the Enumeration Beyond Entry, EBE, program. Launched to streamline processing, the program automatically mails Social Security cards to people with work authorizations from DHS, like migrants. DOJ's chart showed issuances climbing from 270,000 in fiscal year 2021 to 2.1 million in fiscal year 2024. The surge was attributed to Biden-era policies, including expedited work permits for migrant applicants. DOJ detailed how the system's defaults were set to max inclusion and maximum pay for migrants, funneling them into benefits like Medicaid. That's what you need to know. In Dallas, Christina Aguayo.